Today we will discuss about pipelining. What is pipelining? Pipelining is a technique by which we can speed up our system. So by using pipelining, we can speed up our system's performance. So first of all, in pipelining, decompose a sequential process into sub-operations. So in stage 1, we decompose a sequential process into sub-operations. After that, each sub-operation is executed concurrently into special segments. So we divide the sequential process into sub-operations, and all the operations executed executed concurrently into a segment so that speed of the system can be achieved. Earlier, our process executed sequentially, but by using pipelining, we can execute all the process concurrently. So at a time, many process may execute. That's why speed of the system is enhanced. So in pipelining, the overlapping of computation is made possible by associating register with each segment. So in each segment we associate a register to perform computation associated with each segment. The register provides isolation between each segment. So during execution, each segment executes independently, means no all the segments not interfere with each other. So in register provides isolation between each segment so that each can operate on distinct data simultaneously. So pipelining can be defined as pipelining is a technique of decomposing a sequential process into sub-operations with each sub-process being executed in a special dedicated segments that operate concurrently with all other segments. So this is one of the definition of pipelining. This one is the pipelining example. We have given an example in which two operations are performed. First one is multiply, after that add operation. So here we multiply AI and BI and added it with CI. Here we have performed all the operations 7 times. So we perform here multiplication and addition operation 7 times. Here we have divided this instruction AI into BI plus CI into 3 sub operation segment. Here we have divided 3 sub operation segment. In first operation segment, we take input. Here we are moving the data from AI to register R1 and moving data from BI to register R2. Here we are inputting data AI and BI in stage 2, multiplying the data and input CI. Here in R3, we multiply the value stored in register R1 and R2 and store it into register R3 and taking input the value of CI and store it into register R4. In stage 2, in stage 3, multiplying the result of we are adding the result of multiplication with R4. Here adding CI means finally we get the result from AI into BI plus CI. So here we have divided the instruction in 3 sub operations. This is the diagrammatic representation in which all the sub operations executed concurrently. Here we have divided this instruction into 3 segments: segment 1, segment 2, segment 3. In segment 1 we take the value of ai and bi and store it to register R1 and R2. In segment 2 we multiplying the stored value of register R1 and R2 and getting input of value Ci in register R3. And in third segment, final addition is performed, means R3 plus R4. So here this is operation for executing all the instruction for I is equal to 1 to 7. Total number of clock cycles used is 9. In first clock cycle, one sub operation is performed. First sub operation is performed of instruction 1. So here ai and bi is get inputted to the system and stored in R1 and R2 in first clock cycle. In second clock cycle, sub operation 2 is performed. Sub operation 2 is performed for instruction 1. Sub operation 2, this is for sub operation 2 for instruction 1, and parallelly sub operation 1, this is sub operation 1 for instruction 2. So here we concurrently executing the segments in clock cycle 3. Instruction 1 for sub operation 1 of instruction 3, and here sub operation 2 of instruction 2, and this one is sub operation. This is the sub operation 3 of instruction 1. So after 3 clock cycle, instruction 1 is executed. Here 3 sub operations. So in 3 clock cycles, all the statements of instruction 1 is executed. So instruction 1 is executed. Execution of instruction 1 is completed. In clock cycle 4, completion of instruction 2 is completed. In clock cycle, third clock cycle, in fifth clock cycle, instruction 3 is executed. Completion of execution 3. In sixth clock cycle, instruction 4 is executed. Execution of instruction 4 is completed. In seventh clock cycle, instruction 5 execution completion. In eighth clock cycle, instruction 6 is completed. In ninth clock cycle, instruction 7 is completed. So here in pipelining, total 9 clock cycles are used. So here total number of clock cycles used is 9. But if we execute this all the instruction I1 to I7 in serial manner, I1, after that I2, I3, I4, I5, I6 and I7. If we executed all the instruction 1 to instruction 7 in sequential manner, then it will take 7 into 3 means 21 clock cycles, because one instruction will take 3 clock cycles. So 7 instruction will take 21 clock cycles. But by using pipelining concept, all the instruction will take only 9 clock cycles. So here total number of clock cycles used in by using pipelining 9. But if you execute all the instruction in sequential manner, total number of clock cycles used is 21. But if we use pipelining concept, total number of clock cycle used is 9. So speed up of our system is achieved by using pipelining. Next one is these are some basic concepts which will used in pipelining. First one is instruction pipeline. First one is instruction pipeline. Instruction pipeline is, so pipelining can be applied to various functions. In pipeline can be applied in various ways. So instruction pipeline. First one is instruction pipeline. Instruction pipeline uses total number of stages is 5 stages. Instruction pipeline use total number of stages used in instruction pipeline is 5. Total number. First one is instruction phase, instruction decode, operation phase, operand phase, instruction execution, and write back the result. So total number of phases used in instruction pipeline is 5 stages. Out of last 3 stages is instruction execution phase. Of operand phase, instruction execution, and write back the result is combined together is called as instruction execution phase. So this is already here. Total number of one instruction, it will take 5 clock cycles. Every phase uses 1 clock cycle. So total number of clock cycle used in one instruction is 5. So here we have 4 instructions, I1 to I4. We have to execute all these 4 instructions. First we will execute in serial manner. After that we will use pipelining concept. So first instruction I1 will take total 5 clock cycles. For first clock cycle for instruction phase, second clock cycle for instruction decode, third clock cycle for operand phase, fourth clock cycle for instruction execution, and fifth clock cycle for write back the result. So after completion of execution 1, total clock cycle used is 5. For instruction I2, it will also take 5 clock cycles. So total here 10 clock cycle is used. Instruction 3 will take 5 clock cycles here. For first one for instruction phase, instruction decode, operand phase, instruction execution, and write back the result. It also takes 5 clock cycles. The total 15 clock cycles are used till now. For instruction 4, it will also take 5 clock cycles. The total number of clock cycles used here is 20 clock cycles are used for executing all the 4 instructions in serial manner. But if we use pipelining concept, number of clock cycle used is reduced. So here for instruction I1, it will take 5 clock cycles. I2, for instruction I2, when instruction I1 perform instruction decode, then instruction 2 perform instruction phase. So here instruction 1 and instruction 2 execution parallelly starts. In clock cycle 3rd, instruction 3 instruction phase of instruction fetch operation of instruction 3 is executed, and in 4th clock cycle instruction phase of instruction 4 is executed. So parallel execution starts after 1 clock cycle, at every 1 clock cycle. So after 5 clock cycle, first instruction will be completed, and in next clock cycle, second instruction means after completion of 6th clock cycle, second instruction will be completed, and after next clock cycle means after completion of 7th clock cycle, instruction 3rd will be completed. Execution of instruction 3rd is completed, and after its clock cycle instruction 4 will be completed. Means total number of clock cycle used here in parallel pipelining concept, total number of clock cycle is 8. So here 8 clock cycle is, but in serial execution total number of clock cycle is 20. So by using pipelining concept, speed of the system is speed. Our system performs faster, means speed of the system is enhanced. Next concept is, these are the basic concepts used in pipelining. Next concept is pipelining requires buffer. Because here in pipelining parallel executions takes place, so holding the sub operations buffer is required to hold the data or instructions or sub programs. So pipelining requires buffer. Each and every buffer holds only a single value, so a lots of buffer is required in pipelining concept, because a lots of operations or lots of instructions executed concurrently. Next one is pipelining uses just in time principle. Just in time principle means any delay in one stage affect the entire pipelining flow. So this is the just in time principle. Just in time principle, any delay in any stage affects the entire pipeline flow. Next one, if you consider ideal scenario, in ideal scenario, equal work for all stages. See, if you consider ideal scenario, equal work will be performed in each stage, but sometimes it is not possible, and in pipelining slowest stage determines the flow rate of the entire pipeline system. So if you perform a pipeline system, the slowest flow rate determines the entire pipeline system. Means slowest stage determines the flow rate. Flow rate of the pipeline system is determined by the slowest stage, because slowest stage will complete at the end. So the speed of the or rate flow of the pipeline is determined by the slowest stage. So slowest stage determines the flow rate of the entire pipeline. So each and every stage the buffer is required for holding data. So pipeline requires buffer. So each buffer holds a single data. In pipelining, buffer is required because we have to hold the data. So it is already discussed. Just use it just in time principle. If you consider ideal scenario, in that case equal work for all stage. All stage will perform equal works, and the rate of the flow is determined by in pipelining. The rate of flow is determined by the slowest stage. Next concept is reasons for unequal work. So some reasons for unequal work stages. Unequal work stages. This will be stages. Unequal work stages. So these are the sum of the reasons for unequal work stages. First one is complex stage. Complex step. A complex step cannot be divided conveniently. So we cannot divide a complex step easily. So these are the reason of unequal work stages. Next one is an operation takes variable amount of times. So all the operations used in our instruction is of variable time amount, because an operation takes variable amount of time to execute. Why it takes variable amount of time? Suppose operand fetch time depends on where the operand is stored. Where the operand is stored means it can be in register or in cache memory or in main memory. And we already know that the speed of register, cache memory and main memory all are different. Register are very faster memory, after that cache memory, and main memory is relatively slower than register and cache memory. So an operation takes variable amount of time to execute. It depends on where our operand is stored. Where our operand is stored means it can be in register or in cache memory or in main memory. Next one is complexity of operation depends on the types of operations. So which operation we are performing. So this is also one of the reason of the unequal stages. So complexity of operation depends on the type of operation. Type operations means add. So add operation may take one cycle. Suppose multiply operation may take several clock cycles. So it is fully dependent on the types of operation depends. So complexity depends on the types of operations, because add is very simple instruction in compared to add. Multiply is complex instruction. So complexity of operation depends on the types of operations. These are the basic concepts used in pipelining. Next basic concept is operand fetch. Here this is one of the discussion. Operand fetch in I2 takes 3 cycles. Here this operand fetch, this is the operand fetch. Here it takes 3 clock cycles. Generally sub operation of instruction 1, here sub operation of instruction 1 takes only 1 clock cycle. Instruction fetch take 1 clock cycle. Instruction decode 1 clock cycle. Operand fetch 1 instruction 1 clock cycle. Instruction execution 1 clock cycle, and write back the result. It has taken 1 clock cycle. So total 5 clock cycle is used. But in I2 instruction fetch takes 1 clock cycle. Instruction decode takes 1 clock cycle. But operand fetch, here operand fetch takes 3 clock cycles. So this type stages can be these types of operation caused by hazards. Hazard will discuss in some of the in upcoming classes. So this is the pipeline. Here operand fetch of I2 takes 3 clock cycles. So pipeline stalls for 2 clock cycles. Here we have to use only 1 clock cycle, but here operand fetch will take 3 clock cycles. So pipeline stalls for 2 clock cycles, because in 1 clock cycle we have to perform the operand fetch, but it will take 3 clock cycles. So there is a stall of 2 clock cycles. So this is caused by hazard. Hazard will be discussed in some of the upcoming classes. Next is pipeline stalls reduce the overall throughput. Here the stalls reduces the overall throughput. Here it all after completion of all the instruction I1 to I4, it will take 10 clock cycles. But we have already discussed this example. How many clock cycles are used? Only 8 clock cycles are used. Here only 8 clock cycles used. But here due to pipelining stalls, it will take 10 clock cycles. So this is caused by hazards, and the throughput of the overall system is reduced. Previously it had taken all 8 clock cycles, but here due to stalls in pipeline, it will take 10 clock cycles. So overall performance of the system is reduced. So pipeline stalls reduces the overall throughput of the system. Next is there are 3 types of hazards. First one is a resource hazard. Resource hazard means where our resources are stored, means data or instructions are stored. Resources occurs when two or more instruction uses the same resource. Same resource means both the instruction claim for a single resource. In that case, there is a conflict occurs. So this is called as resource hazard. Means both the instructions are demanding for same resources. So in same resources means both of instructions require the same resource. So this is called as a resource hazard. Resource hazard occurs when two or more instruction uses or demanding for same resource. This is also called as a structural hazards. Second type of hazard is data hazard. Data hazard is used due to dependency between instruction. Dependency between instruction. Data hazard is caused by data dependency between instruction. Data dependency between instruction is, suppose there are two instructions I1 and I2. So result produced by I1 instruction, whatever the result produces I1 instruction is read by I2 instruction. Means whatever the result produced by I1 instruction is used by I2 instruction. So this is, there is a data dependency between instruction I2 and I3. So this type of hazard is called as data hazard. Third type of hazard is called as control hazard. Control hazard occurs due to sequential execution suits pipeline. Default means sequential execution suits pipeline. So control hazard occurs due to sequential execution. For some instruction, we cannot perform all the instructions used we cannot perform instructions used in all the instructions used in our system cannot be performed or execute concurrently. Some of the instructions we have to instruct some. There is some special type of instruction, or there is dependent instruction we have to execute in sequential manner. We cannot execute all the instruction in parallel manner. So we have to execute some of the instruction in sequential manner. So default they are sequential suits for sequential execution. So this type of instruction alternating control flow causes problem. Next one is control hazard occurs due to alternating control flow. Alternating control flow means there is a branching which will cause control hazard. So this introduces control dependency. So there is a dependency on control flow because due to branching we are depending on the control flow. So these are the reason for data hazard. First one is some instruction can execute only on sequential manner, and second one is control flow or branching cause the control hazards. So how can we handle the conflicts? Here resource hazard, for resource hazard there is a conflict. So how can we handling resource conflict? How can we handle the resource conflict? Here there is an example in which I1 fetches operand and I3. If there is a conflict at clock cycle 3, so I3 delayed its instruction fetch from the same memory. Suppose I1 and I3 using the same resource or same memory location. In that case, we can idle the instruction 3. We delayed the instruction I3. In this manner we can control the resource conflict. So conflict for memory in clock cycle 3. Here in clock cycle, this is for clock cycle 3. In clock cycle 3, I1 fetches in clock cycle 3. Instruction 1 fetches operand. Operand fetch occurs for I1 and same memory location is used by instruction I3. So we idle the instruction I3 for one clock cycle. Here I3 delays its instruction fetch from same memory. In that way we can handle the resource conflicts. So one instruction in clock cycle 3, we idle the instruction 3 because instruction 3 is also using the same memory location. So after completion of operation operand fetch, I3 starts execution. So I3 start execution in clock cycle 4. So by delaying the instruction, we can handle the resource conflicts. And we can minimize the resource conflict by minimizing the impact of resource conflict. Minimizing the impact of resource means we can increase the number of available resources. If there are lots of resources, then there is no conflict among the instructions. So we can minimize the resource conflict by increasing the available resources. Or second one is prefetch. Prefetch means prefetch is relaxes just-in-time principle. Just-in-time principle we have already discussed what is just-in-time principle. So example is instruction queue. So we can create an instruction queue in which one instruction after other will starts execution. So we can create a instruction queue pool or instruction queue in which the execution or start of instruction one after other will occur. So in this way we can minimize the resource conflict. In next class we will discuss about data hazard.